Well, the mail run today, which is surprising since there's a hurricane. Actually, it's not that surprising. The last hurricane, way more wind than this. Amazon, I believe, was delivering here. Postal Service. Most of the delivery people were delivering in way worse wind than this. My Mexican Tifonia was leaning all the way almost to the ground. So I tried to pull it up a few times just to see if I can get it to stay. But with the wind and, how big they are, it didn't work, so I cut the top biggest and most heaviest branches off. They're probably like 10-12 foot branches here, just because I wanted to keep a couple on there that had some flower blooms on them, and I'm trying my best just to prop it up versus like tying it or something, which doesn't seem like a worthwhile thing. If it falls again, I'll just probably cut it to the ground or 4 or 5 foot up in the air where it will not catch wind with the leaves, and it should come back just fine. I've got a bag of clay. I might can just go around there with it, but I was going to use that as filler somewhere, maybe in a bed or somewhere else, so I'm not sure. Probably will have to do more than just prop this Deanna fig that keeps falling. It's probably the way the shade is here and where the sun is that is making it, grow out, so that the roots are kind of having all that pressure on that angled growth and weight and the wind. But yeah, we may have to tie that, may even have to move it later, or cut this limb here that's pulling it this way, maybe try to root it and see what happens. Couldn't find my pruners, so I got a razor. I think I'm gonna pull the rootstock, cut it off of this loquat, this shambhala, something like that, loquat. So I cut them, and that's just rootstock, so it's nothing special. Can just be thrown in the pile right there with it. But guess what I see? There's definitely about a medium size sweet potato there, and there probably are some here. I just don't know if I should pull them and maybe mess up the bed if I pull too many. We're supposed to be getting in the upper 50s, I think, tonight, tomorrow. So we got that cold front that I guess fought, Hurricane Milton, as Milton was coming like east, northeast. The cold front, I guess, was coming down and attacking it, making it weaker, but dispersing it and making it wider. I think that loquat, though, probably over time needs to be straightened out again, and until it gets some good growth and we can stake it up again. Pulling of the sun, sweet potato vines or whatever, everything can pull it. But really the scion graft area was so small when we got it and planted it here. It was just now in the last couple months, pulling itself out of that shade. So it may be ready to start growing straight up now. And anyway, about sweet potatoes, and you see the vines everywhere. It's absolutely covered with sweet potatoes. People, not all the time, but most of the time, recommend planting a ground cover like sweet potatoes, or maybe perennial peanut in a place where it's not going to spread past your bed, and become invasive. But banana circles often have sweet potatoes, pineapples, papayas. But do you disrupt the bed by collecting your sweet potatoes, or do you just let it grow there and just leave it alone? Here are the last of the avocado seed pits that we're going to plant. I'm not sure if I want to. You want to see that?
See.
Yeah, that's neat, huh? Some of them are already splitting. So I'm definitely thinking about taking them inside after I get them in pots, because we are getting in the 50s. Maybe it'll be a little bit warmer on a semi-sunny window area. They might be more enticed to sprout. Looks like we could only get 7 seeds in this big pot, 3 gallon or whatever. And we're pulling potting soil from wherever. This is an old unused flower pot where the flowers, I guess, died during the drought earlier this year, and we got 4 left to find maybe some smaller pots. Anyway, that's about 16 more pits, so 16 more chances to have more cold hardy avocado trees or rootstock for grafted ones later. And I'm a bit disappointed that the mail run today, yet my tree I've been waiting on since Monday hasn't arrived, and it's been in the local distribution center for 2 days now. Hopefully tomorrow. Having said that, I just placed an order for 3 pieces of scion wood, the same cultivar of a certain type of tree. Again, I'm not going to spoil it here. Let's talk about it when it gets here and maybe try to graft that scion wood onto something. And then maybe just maybe, I'll tell you what cultivar and type of tree that is. You'll know when you see it what type, but you may not know the cultivar. I did go to my local nursery, my local guy that does a lot of the grafting, and he did not have this variety, and his prices have went up quite a bit, and he's a little bit less negotiable, I guess, now than he used to be. One certain type of plant from him when I think he was selling them for $25 or $35 a piece, and he was, you really need this, you really need that. I had like $15 in my hand, or in my pocket I should say. I said, all I have is $15. He said, sold. So maybe he was just desperate for money that day, or maybe he's trying to do everybody a favor, But I have given him stuff, mulberry, black mulberry, Morris nigra, 2 autumn olives now, cuttings, and elderberries, the 2015 best, plus the male Himalayan mulberry cuttings. So if he wants to mess around with breeding mulberries, now he has a male. If he still has it, he may have given it to one of his friends or something that's more into mulberries. I'm not sure, but that option is available. No, I'm talking slow. I'm not talking with like a lot of excitement in my voice and all. And I don't know, just today especially, I am very tired. We had, the hurricane we had to try to prepare for, and a lot of stuff, happening with the kids' school and everything else. And everything has just been hectic. And my lawnmower have another bad tire. Replaced the gas tank on it, which was like over $100, and that was like at a third-party seller, not like the manufacturer. Replaced 1 or 2 tires, replaced the battery, worked on it, replaced the ignition coil, and now the other tire is like not even staying up for a full day. So need to figure out if I want to get some slime or fix a flat and try to temporarily repair it. And if that doesn't work, we're going to have to get a new one, and they're not the easiest things to put on. And Natalie went out in her electric chair today, and I told her it's not a good idea because how muddy the yard is. So she barely got out, and I don't know if she's going to be able to get the wheelchair back in now. Of course, it's a nice day, breeze. It's not super hot, maybe like 76, 80 degrees. See that breeze? It's like 4 p.m., a little past it. And, hurricane is way out somewhere, but we're still getting the breeze from it. As cold weather sort of nears, we got to think about scion wood cuttings, different things like that as well. So pawpaws, the bad thing is we can't really get scion wood too early. The pawpaws, we would have to throw them in the refrigerator, and what a scion would last 2 months maximum. We probably have to do it that mid or late season, and you probably lose, the most rare, the most in demand stuff by waiting. I'm not going to try any like grafted mulberries, again, after having 0 success last year. using maybe a better grafting technique, like wrapping the entire graft so that it doesn't dry out. I don't know. We probably have the majority of the mulberry stuff we need, but it's a won't probably. We do want to try to get the best, keep trying different things until you're satisfied, because, some little mulberries that taste good, you're not satisfied with them. It takes 1,000 of them to make, 6 or so jars of preserves. You want something bigger, more plump, heavier, denser, flavorful. And I personally don't like the kind of the Morse Alba white taste. I kind of don't like some of the green grassy taste, like I guess like the Illinois everbearing, which has, it's kind of like a red mulberry meets like some green grass or something to me, and I don't really like it. But they do use that a lot for rootstocks, and I guess it's more cold hardy than some varieties. One thing we can't do with the ground so saturated is to do the banana circle, because we can't dig in the ground. On a lot of areas, the water's, above the soil. And even where it's not, if we dig probably 4 inches in the ground, it's probably gonna be muddy and just fill up with water. There is something sort of serene just sitting out here on a chair watching the little papaya leaves, fly, move around in the wind and stuff. Anyway, I think getting that soft sand pear, whatever cultivar variety it is that, apparently my local nursery doesn't know the true name for it, getting that in some sort of raised bed out in like wetland zone 2-ish area where the other pears are, besides the Kiefer pear, which, is a sucky pear. So that whatever that other pear is that blooms every year, that obviously does not get pollinated, actually gets pollinated, is kind of an important thing. The Kiefer pear is self-pollinating, or at least semi-self-pollinating. It always produces fruit without another pear around. But that guy out back never has produced a single one, even though it's been flowering for years. So let's see, we got a raised bed in this area, that I've been just piling limbs on this season. I got another one in sort of that dip that I call Toxicity Island. I've gotten one near the road that I'm thinking about doing bananas. I do not think I could do a banana circle there, because there's a drain system that I'd be digging into. So I don't even know if that's a good idea, because it's not going to be protected too much from the winds. So winds, I don't know, is it going to knock the bananas down in a bed like this? Or the cold air, is it going to knock it out? I mean, we do know that when they're in a raised bed like this, with so much decomposition or composting going on, the bacteria, the fungal growth, the earthworms, all kinds of stuff, create heat as they're eating, the vegetation and the carbon and all that stuff. And I'm assuming that would keep bananas alive. But above that, the above growth, how are they going to fare? Are they still going to be able to potentially produce bananas into ripeness before they get too cold? Or, is the cold weather on the previous year going to knock the plant so far down that it's not going to be able to do much, But yeah, we'll figure something about that specific banana raised bed versus banana circle later, I guess. We have the old banana bed that we raised up in 2015, and as you probably know, if you've kept up here for a while, almost every banana froze to death that first year. One came up for several years, 6, 7, 8, 9 years. And when I went to transplant it, it was a little system with a little root on it. I put it in that banana mound that we made, and I haven't seen a sign of it since, so it probably died. So those are sort of the beds that we have that we're working on that we have not planted out, but I really don't think any of those beds are going to be right for that pear tree. I need to try to find a sunnier location to put it. I may just put it close to the other one and, you know, do sort of a mini mycorrhizal bed or something around it, just to help keep moisture on it and keep it, you know, being fed, you know, over time. The Baldwin pear we had that got ate up with those boring insects, beetles or whatever, it took about 8 years before it started producing fruit. You know, the first year it might have produced 1 pear, then it might have did like 5 next year, 15, and then, you know, it went on to like 75 or 100 or whatever. So even on your first year, you may not get that much. And as you probably know, we've been messing with figs a lot in the last year or so, and I really don't want to mess with grafting figs if I don't have to, but it's possible that, you know, we're going to be trying so many varieties and we don't have prime locations to plant them out, you know, in the ground. So, you know, we may have to grow some out in containers and then graft, you know, to something that's vigorous, some vigorous rootstocks that, you know, may not be affected by nematodes or something like that. Maybe a Celeste or something. I'm still pretty much waiting to get somebody to go get soiled. I don't know if the landscape place was open today at all, but hopefully they'll be open tomorrow. That doesn't mean I'm gonna have somebody to get me some, but I need a yard of soil or so. And yeah, we got a lot of transplanting and, you know, pulling some seedlings and stuff out and repotting and all that good stuff. Are we gonna pull these sweet potatoes up, or when are we gonna do it? So I need to do some more research to see when I should do it. Everybody else is already pulling theirs up, but let's just see, give it the best chance to have as large sweet potatoes as possible. And then you still have to cure them to get them to get sweeter. You know, if you eat them immediately, they won't be quite as sweet. They don't convert their starches to sugars or whatever, inulin or whatever it's called, until they have time to just rest for a while. I don't think I've ever seen a little lizard eating a big old giant dragonfly. I better leave him before he just lets him go.